Angela Fazio is an industry powerhouse who has overseen 40,000 homes sold and $9 billion in production. And Kristen Cantrell is one of the nation's most accomplished team leaders, helping thousands of agents build their businesses. They are passionate about educating, encouraging, and empowering moms in real estate. Our next episode starts now.
Hey everyone, welcome to Moms in Real Estate. I'm Angela Fazio. That is my beautiful co-host, Kristen Cantrell, and we have an amazing guest, Stevi Pritt. She's from West Virginia. She's living the dream that God blessed her with. It's boss babe meets hands-on mama. And she's only been in the business for less than 2 years and is already killing it with $4 million in production. So welcome, Stevi. I'm so glad you're here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. So my name is Stevi. That's not short for anything. My parents just really like Stevie Nicks. And I've lived in West Virginia my whole life. And my husband and I are raising 3 children together. My stepson's 13. And we have a 2-year-old. She'll be 3 this summer, almost fully potty trained. And we have a baby boy that will be 10 months old, 10 months old next week. Gosh.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and he's mama's boy, but looks just like his daddy. So,
oh yeah, you definitely have it's your last kid, and I know when we talked before, you have such a smile on your face when you talk about your son.
Yes,
I love it.
Precious baby boy. Yeah,
yeah.
I love your attitude. I love your attitude about embracing the time you are where God has placed you right now. I've really been thinking about that since I first read your questionnaire and talked with you. And, I think that that's one of the things that you're doing really well is staying present. And so I want you to talk about that. And how do you reset your mind when you're doing such great real estate and you're passionate about it? How do you reset your mind to soak it all in and enjoy what God's given you today?
Well, I did work really hard for this dream. I prayed for it. And it was a big deal to leave the previous career that I had just to start this new career. But like you said, I had a vision of hands-on mom meets boss babe. So I was going to do whatever it took to make that work. And so I just, in the moments when I feel really overwhelmed, I just think, you know what, this is just a moment. We all have them, even when we're living our best life. And I think this is just a moment. And this is what I prayed for. I'm living my dream life. The babies are only going to be this little right now. And time flies, and I just try to soak it up and soak it in. And when things don't go the way they are supposed to go or the way we plan, which happens all the time, even though I plan and I try to have structure and organization, as soon as something goes wrong, I do have moments of stress and getting overwhelmed. But then I just stop and say, this is just a season of life. I'm in this season right now where I'll be 33 in a couple of weeks, and I've got young babies at home. And this is just a time that I really need to embrace because I know I'm going to miss it when I look back.
I think that's such a good thing to hit on because we all especially with social media, we're like, oh my gosh, look at that person, look what they're doing. And why am I not there? And then you're like, well, you're at a different place than them. And it is so important to be present, especially when they're little and be okay with that, Yeah. Sometimes I have that same struggle. So I totally when you're talking, I'm totally relating because I need to have that constant reminder to be present.
Yeah. You're not missing out on anything that God has for you. That's what I remind myself. I remind myself on 2 things. Seasons. I love that idea of seasons of life. And I also love that I know what I have right now is from God. And so I need to have a grateful heart.
Yes.
No matter what I'm thinking. The other thing that I've been really practicing, which you brought out, Kristen, is not comparing. That is so hard. It creeps into our brains and we compare in all these ways. And I have to stop. I literally have self-talk. Stop it. Yeah. Yeah, God gave you what he gave you. Be grateful.
Yeah.
So tell us about your business. Where do you get your business from? How have you grown it? I know you work with some wonderful people. You can tell us about that too.
Yeah. So most of my business so far has come from my sphere, really, and people that I know. But I do a lot of marketing on social media, and I've been very honest with my marketing in that I'm the agent with babies. I include them in my marketing. And it's been great because I went out on a limb and wanted a career in, I thought sales. I wanted to be more of an entrepreneur. I thought, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to get my real estate license. And you don't know what all goes into it, like most people that end up.
Right.
I thought, well, I could show houses and I can learn how to write a contract. Sure. But I've gotten really lucky that I really, really, really love it. And I really do have a passion for it. And so I think just being authentic about that and putting myself out there on social media has brought people from my sphere, into me. And so most of my business has come from that. And I do have great people that I work with. It was really important to me to have, other moms that were around my age that had kids that were around my age. And so, yeah, it's great. Love it.
Yeah, that is awesome. So what are you hoping for your future? Like, what are you building toward? Have you thought about that, or are you just kind of enjoying where you're at today?
I think I'm enjoying where I'm at, but I thought it would take me a little longer to get to where I'm at. I was kind of surprised at the business that I was able to do last year, with the pandemic, and I gave birth last summer. And so I definitely want to keep thriving and want to continue to grow. But I think I'm just kind of like, wow, I can't believe I did that last year. If I could do that again this year, I'm going to be really happy. But yeah, I just want to continue on this path that I'm on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where the business takes me. I love meeting new people, and I've met some great people that I didn't even know before. This is a whole new world from teaching. So it's been great.
You should talk about your background in teaching, because me and Angela always talk about how people who are teachers and then get into real estate do so well, and people that worked in the restaurant industry and get into real estate do so well. So tell us, like, you were a teacher and what made you decide to get into real estate?
So I was a teacher for 7 years. I taught first grade. And not to say that there weren't things that I didn't love about it. There were a lot of things that I loved about it, but I felt a calling to make a change. And my father-in-law passed away in 2017, and it became really evident to me, like, he loved what he did every day. He loved going to work every day. And I'm like, I just feel like this pull toward something else. And when I knew we were going to have more babies and that I wanted to be that, hands-on mom, like, I just had this vision. I wanted to be the mom that did the breakfast and did the lunch and did the healthy snacks. And let's go to the park. But I had that vision of being a career woman, a boss babe that was able to continue to thrive and grow. And so I felt like real estate was something that would be good for me, because I felt like I would be able to get out and talk to people more. And that's something that I wanted to do. I felt like I could take my kids with me a lot, and I do take them with me. I had to get pretty creative with that. But that's pretty much, and it was a big deal because I had a retirement, and I had a degree for teaching, and I had benefits. And so it was just like, I have no, this has to work. Basically, I was like, I have to be successful. And I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of the skill set of teaching, because I was a teacher as well. A lot of that skill set totally translates. I mean, now you're teaching adults about the process of home ownership and walking them through that process and helping them to understand it. So a lot of that just translates so well.
Well, and being able to have the communication skills, I think, whether you're talking to, your boss or other parents or the kids or whatever, the communication skills. And I think the organization, you have to be so organized as a teacher that was a huge thing, but really.
You might be organized. I am not. Kristen and I talk about it all the time. We're like, if we could just think in a straight line for like 2 minutes, that would be awesome.
I have a question. So you had that vision in your head of, like, being able to, like, do the breakfast and the healthy snacks and, like, all that stuff. Do you feel like, okay, that's what I'm doing?
Yes, but I did go through phases where it was not so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would sit there sometimes and think, and especially right after I had the baby, I would sit there and think, I want to be somebody that exercises every day and I do this for the kids and everything, but, and I want to have healthy smoothies for them. And I went through a period where I was like, how am I going to do this all? I have laundry to do and I have dishes to do. I really just had to make it happen. I time block. So I know, and the kids are on a great schedule, but I know when they eat, I know when they nap, and I know when they snack. And so once I started planning my day like that, and, putting those things in those time slots, then I was able to open up all the rest of the time for things that I need to do for work. And
it always comes back to time blocking.
It
Always.
does.
I swear.
And, if I work in the evenings or on the weekend, my husband is here to help. And I have my mom and my mother-in-law live close by, thankfully. So if I have like a listing appointment or a closing, they're here to help me. But other than that, during the day, I work with the babies. And so if they're in their high chairs having a snack, then I'm on the computer doing things, whether it's marketing or emailing. We'll go show houses. They go with me. It's great when my stepson goes, like if he's out of school, because he's super, super helpful. But I have parked my toddler like in a stroller in the foyer of the house and strapped the baby on me in a carrier, And of course, like I said, there are times where it doesn't go as planned and we've got dinner on the road. And sometimes my husband will go with me. That way we can grab dinner or whatever. We just make it work. But otherwise, for the most part, I feel like I'm finally to the point where my vision is coming true.
That's awesome. I think one of the things that I heard you say that I think that a lot of moms don't understand how important it is like, I've always been a big proponent when my kids were little, they were on a schedule.
Yes.
Like they went to bed at a certain time. They got up at a certain time. Nap time was nap time.
Yes.
Even as they got a little older, nap time lasted a long time. Like I don't care if you were just quietly in your room. There were those times so that you can manage everything else. Well, mental management too, but manage everything else that's going on in your life. That schedule.
Yeah.
It's so important for them too.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have their moments, like we have normal temper tantrums, toddler moments, but for the most part, they're really well behaved. And I don't think without the discipline and the structure, I wouldn't be able to take them with me and do these things with them, that we do. And so, yeah, the schedule, we are very on top of the schedule. Even bedtime, the whole bedtime routine, we're very serious about it. And they go to bed and then we get our time. So, yeah.
I met with a girl. She's a high producing real estate agent, and she's 6 months pregnant with her first baby. And I had coffee with her yesterday, and she's like, I just don't know how I'm going to do. Like, she didn't want to tell anybody she was pregnant. She didn't want anyone to think like, oh, she can't do it. She has this like really like strong core belief that like when she has kids, like people aren't going to want to work with her. And she's like, what do you think about like when people bring their kids with them, like, and their clients? And I'm like, women do it all the time. So I can't wait. I'm going to send this to her.
I think it makes you more relatable, and because like I've had a lot of buyers that have had kids the same age, and I just think it makes you more relatable. And like I said, I'm pretty honest in my marketing. I think everyone knows, like I'll say we're out showing houses, me and the baby on the hip or whatever. And so, yeah, I mean, I think
it's so encouraging. I swear because like there are so many women that are stuck going to a job where they're dropping their kids off at daycare all day and they're hardly seeing them. So I think that this is such a great message for moms to hear. Like you can have what you have, and it's through real estate. It's so cool.
I was very fortunate. I mean, I'm very fortunate that my husband was able to provide for us while I just completely quit teaching and made the transition. But I still would have done it anyway. It just would have taken me a little longer. I would have saved up more, for a longer period of time. Maybe I would have done real estate on the side while I did the transition from teaching. And so, I don't want to say that, it's impossible for all these other people out there. It is possible. I just would have taken a different route, but I still would have done it.
100%. Like when I went into real estate, I was a single mom and with a baby. And I was like, I don't want to be a broke single mom. So that's why I got out of teaching and went into real estate. I just didn't want to be a broke single mom. But the other thing that I heard you say that we need to keep hammering home to the women who listen to this is you need to market yourself and show up as your authentic self.
Yes.
Because when you do that, you're going to attract the clients that love what you're doing. If someone's looking at your social media or looking at your post and they just can't stand the fact that a mom would bring their kids on a showing, they're not going to contact you. Fine. Right. You don't want to work with that person anyway.
Right. Yeah. So the people that contact you are the people that like what you're doing, what they see. What you see is what you get, Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I love it.
Should we kind of wrap it up and talk about what would your one piece of advice be to a mom getting into real estate, has young kids? Like, what would be your one piece of advice?
So some practical advice would be to do the time blocking, to figure out your routine, figure out your schedule. Give yourself the grace and flexibility, though, for when things don't go as planned, because that's going to happen. So, and I think just a positive mindset of knowing this is your season of life, keeping that positive mindset that your babies are young, but you can do it. And, you know, this is what you worked for and you prayed for. And if you're living your dream life, then, you know, just do what you can to make the best of it.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that you came on the show. I'm so grateful to meet you. And so I've got some exciting things. If you've been listening, you've been hearing what's coming up here in Chandler, Arizona on April 22nd and 23rd. We're having a whole moms in real estate thing. The first day we'll be having wine or coffee or whatever and listening to some amazing outside women speakers. We're going to have dinner and drinks and networking in the evening at a special VIP dinner. And then the next day we'll have our Girl Educate Yourself Summit, which I'm so excited for. Where we're awesome. All kinds of short little snippets from wonderful and amazing women. So if you guys want to attend, all you have to do is look at one of our Instagrams, look up on Moms in Real Estate Instagram, and you can find the information of how to RSVP. We've got information about hotels if you're coming from out of town. A bunch of you are. And I can't wait to meet some of you. I wanted to say bitches, but.
Well, you did. So good job.
You ladies. So we're so excited.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on, Stevi. That was awesome.
And real quick, I want to give a happy birthday shout out. My nephew turns 3 today. So happy birthday. Aunt Stevi loves you.
Aww,
that was sweet.
That is so sweet.
Well, thank you again, Stevi, for all your wise words.
Me.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
God bless all of you guys.
It's awesome.
Oh, seriously. Yes. Thank you so much. God bless all of you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.